In this exercise, we'll be creating the view class. Now why? Because the system which we default cells which system provides cannot accommodate three elements. So we'll be declaring the class which extends UI table view cell, and we'll be returning that particular cell instead of UI table view cell. So under view, I'll right click, say new file, Cocoa touch class. I'll say instead of subclass of UI NS object, I'll say subclass of UI table view. The suffix will be added already. I'll say app table view cell. I'll say next, create. Now I need to override one method. Now when you call a constructor, it uses the same class name as a function name. But while implementing a constructor, we have to use word init. Now this is because in Objective-C, we don't have a concept called round bracket for the function. So a constructor name and a class name a constructor and a class cannot be differentiated by the compiler. So in Objective-C, we used to use init. So in order to give a backward compatibility or the intercompatibility between the two um, programming language, what Apple have done is that you call constructor using the same name as a class name, but while creating a constructor, you have to use word init. When I use word init, I'll get all my override method in constructor. So I'll be using something called init with style and reuse identifier. When I say enter, it'll say ask for the code. Now here I'll first call the super constructor as part of the rule. I'll pass the style as an internal parameter and a reusable identifier as a second parameter. Now once I do this, I get two errors. I click on this function, right color button, and say enter, you'll write override because you are overriding your base class constructor. And second, it says there's some required method needed in Swift when you override your default constructor with something called decoder. We just implement that. We are not bothered what that method does. Now out here I have to create my template. Now here we need to know the frame for the, so we have a table, okay. So I am creating a rectangle which will represent the, say, cell frame. So I'll say the width of the cell will be 300, whereas the height will be, say, say 80. Okay, inside this you're gonna have to create the icon and the labels. So I say the icon will be, all of them will be 10 pixel away from each other. So I have to create three UI element. So I say var icon view of type UI image view. Now here we are creating a wireframe for the cell. So I say name label, UI label, and publisher label, again of type UI label. Now I'll be creating this frame for this all UI elements. So I'll say UI image view instead of using image because data will be provided by the controller. I'll say cdirect make 10 from X, 10 from Y, width I'll say assume 60 and 60. Why? Because out of 80 pixels, if you give 10 pixels as a padding, you remain with the. Now here I'm using add subview because in this context, when I say self, it represents the app table view cell, which itself is a view, not a controller. Okay, so I say name label, I'll say UI label, frames, cdirect make. I'll say X is 80, Y is 10. So if you go 30 goes 10 here for two labels, and 10 between the both the label, you remain with 50. So you divide that by 2, you have 25. Now here 80 is your X, and 10 minus 290 minus 80 is 210. So I'll say my width is 210. Simple mathematical calculation. Oops, sorry, no model, only the wireframe. So I say add subview, name, label. Similarly, you have publisher label, go to UR label. The X remains same, 80. Y is 10 plus 25 for the height, and then 10, 45. Width remains same, and height remains same. So I've created dimensions. So I'll be creating CGRect make. Let's put this dimension. So as a self dot add subview publisher label. So I've done with my wireframe of the cell. In the next exercise, I'll bind the app model with the app table view cell.